My name's Curtis Bayliss and I'm a Melbourne-based composer and voice educator. I teach at Melbourne Boys High School in South Yarra, but I've recently had the opportunity to write a new musical about China called Softer Can Be Better. It's been premiered at Park Hill Primary School, my son's school, here in Ashwood, Victoria.
Once long ago in ancient China lived an emperor, a mandarin, sat on a throne in a golden palace within the city of Beijing. Ruled old China for many decades. The mandarin was thought to be both kind and wise, but the mandarin grew to be much older and always sleepy, couldn't open up eyes. Once long ago in ancient China slept an emperor, a wise old mandarin, soaring on the throne in a golden palace in the city of old Beijing. Soaring on the throne in old Beijing.
The inspiration for writing this musical came about because I wanted to contribute to my son's school in an artistic way. And I'd recently read that Mandarin was the second most spoken language in Australia, and I was a bit surprised by that, but it did get me to thinking on Chinese subject matters coming up in musicals. Part of the process for being a music theatre writer is to write something that it has an exotic location, but at the same time has universal themes that everybody from any culture can relate to. So I wanted to put those qualities into something for children.
When Curtis came to me with the proposition that perhaps we could write a music production specially for Park Hill, that idea really appealed, especially because I felt that, having done our research on him, that he was the kind of guy who could make it work. And I also knew that we had a number of very talented parents within the school community who could add value to the program. And I knew that our teachers and staff in general would really welcome the opportunity to work with people who are so talented.
I am a high school teacher and I really welcomed the opportunity I was given by this primary school to create a brand new work for their annual concert. Every 2 years they do a musical presentation, and I spoke to the principal and the vice principal and was invited to contribute to that concert, and it ended up growing and growing and growing and eventually became this musical.
It started off being just a little production. We don't have much seating space. How are we going to do this? And Curtis offered. He's a great friend of the school and of course a parent. He said, well look, this is a skill I have that I can bring, and that's something that our school does do. Various people have all sorts of skills and they bring it and pull it together, and I guess that's what primary schools are about as well. So the seed started, it was going to be a 20-minute effort. Curtis may have told you that he went away thinking, what can I do? And the idea came to him while he was sitting in the car waiting to pick up his little one, a bit like the Harry Potter story, and began this whole idea.
The sources for this were a strange mix. There is a very old story from the 1900s by a Danish writer, one of the Grimm's brothers, I think, which is about the enchanted nightingale, and the Emperor of China has a mechanical nightingale that attracts and bewitches and keeps the emperor awake. There's also another story which is about a European king who falls for a very large poem about a king from Europe who falls asleep and eventually is woken by a child's voice. That story is over 100 years old, and I put the two together to come up with a piece that we could use for every grade level, and finally one small group of soloists.
Not a baritone from out of Mongolia. There's no cure for you, choose to Manchuria. We hope to find a remedy with a song fit for our king, who's me, able to wake up the emperor when there's no time to sleep in. Bound to sleep as long with singing from our canton. There's no cure for you in China, Manchuria. Could we open up one eye with a song from Shanghai?